Hello, everyone. We are back with another season of What SHU Doing, Season 3. Paul?
We're back, Season 3. We got renewed.
We got renewed. Listen, the people have spoken. They like us. They wanted us to come back. We are glad to be back. And to start this off, I am Aaron Burrell.
I'm Paul Guarino.
And we are your hosts of What SHU Doing. We are joined by a very special guest, two-time graduate of Sacred Heart University, class of 2014, class of 2016,
Yep.
Sean Elliot.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Really appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, we haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Good to come back, visit the school, see what's going on, and obviously see good old friends.
Yeah.
We've done so much stuff together.
For sure.
Especially in media. And, yeah, it's great to be here. I was so happy that you guys, invited me down.
Of course. Thank you for coming and taking some time. We want to we like to get into people's origin stories. We have a lot to talk about with you. As you mentioned, we have done some work post school as well.
Yep.
Obviously, we knew each other during our time here at Sacred Heart. But let's start with why Sacred Heart? Why was Sacred Heart the school that you decided that you wanted to go to?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story, right? So I grew up in Guilford, Connecticut, and most of my friends or people that I knew from Guilford High School were going to like UConn and state schools and things like that. And I didn't want to go somewhere where I saw people from high school. So I was like, I just want to get out of here. I want to get out of this town, and I want to go somewhere that it's just like new and exciting. And I visited Sacred Heart, I guess in 2009 was the visit, which is just crazy to think about. And and I loved the campus. It was great, and everybody I met was so welcoming, and it hit me. I was like, I'm gonna go here. This is gonna be the spot. And so I started obviously as a freshman, and took an extra year, I'd say, to kind of get things straightened out, and graduated in 14 finally with a bachelor's in finance. So went through the business school, which it was again such a great experience. I loved basically everybody that I met there. So many friends there too. It got me ready for real world. And then I decided to come back because I was still working. I was working downstairs here actually at the Martiri Center in audiovisual and the factory doing IT stuff and helping out with the classrooms and all the tech and stuff in there. And so, because I was still working there, I was like, I'm gonna do one more year. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna study. I'm gonna study what I love, which is media, right? So I was, during my undergrad, I was photo editor for the newspaper for I don't know how many years, the whole time, and then. I just loved taking pictures. Like I fell in love with photography and loved the newspaper, the magazine, and everybody that was a part of it. And I just wanted to continue that. So, I started grad school, obviously here in this building, and, got my master's eventually in communications. And it was just, it was a blast. I loved being here. This, Sacred Heart was like a second family to me, a second home. And, I just loved it. So that's a little background story, I guess. Yeah.
That's awesome. But so I want to know, because I now that you refresh my memory, how did you start off in business and then go to the media?
Yeah, I mean, I had jumped around even before business. I jumped around a little bit between majors because I was just a kid who didn't know what he wanted to do. So I was in all kinds of departments. I was doing like work study in the MBA office my freshman year, and then a little bit of my sophomore year. I was working on the newspaper, just trying to get my hands into, I guess, everything. Just seeing what hit and what I really like to do, and what I thought that I could do for a living, right? Like after school, and I think I had a couple friends in the business school, and they were like, I know you're jumping around a little bit, but I think you'd be a good fit in business because, you like numbers. And I was like, I'll try it out. And so, I jumped into the school of business, and I loved all the classes. The professors were always willing to help, always super helpful. And I really enjoyed it. And, I thought, after I got my bachelor's in finance that I was going to go into the field of business and finance. And I did. I worked briefly for a retirement company, a 401k company, but then I found out that like sitting at a desk and running numbers and Excel sheets wasn't really what I wanted to do the rest of my life. So I I guess now I'm kind of jumping ahead into a different question here, but like I ended up in IT after that, and that's that's what I really loved.
Gotcha. No, that's why it's interesting because like when I think about it, because I remember like back in the day, because me, you, and AB were always doing interviews, and you were shooting in for us. That's why it's funny because like I pretty much did the same thing with the business degree and then the media studies degree. So I mean, it all makes sense. Like I think they kind of go it's hand in hand basically.
Yeah,
it does go hand in hand totally.
Did you know photography was a passion before you got to school, or was it a passion that you discovered while you were here?
No, I discovered it while I was here. So like I said, I was kind of just dipping my hands into every little thing I could, anything that piqued my interest, and joining the newspaper, being a part of the magazine here. Just holding the camera in my hand and taking pictures, and then even more like getting out and like talking to people. So you get to take pictures all the time as a photo editor of the newspaper, but you also get to meet hundreds of people, and that was probably the coolest part, even more than taking the pictures, is meeting the people behind the pictures. And then obviously that's I was filming you guys and jumping around to different sports, and when I was working for the newspaper, I definitely had a little bit of bias. I focused on mainly shooting sports because I just I used to be an athlete in high school, and I played tennis on the club team here at Sacred Heart, so I loved being around sports, and so I just was naturally attracted to being the sport.
I think you maximized your time at Sacred Heart.
Yeah, big time. I feel like I did. But it was just like I was just loving it. It wasn't even. Sure. It didn't even feel like I was like burnt out or doing too much. I was good with what I had. It felt good.
No, that's awesome. All right, I don't know if you know or remember, because I don't remember exactly how all of us connected.
So I mean, it's definitely sports. I think right. So I mean, I was at easily every single football game.
Actually, I remember you have AB's like photos from the soccer. Remember
I still have soccer photos of you.
Remember, I forgot why I was asking. Remember, I was looking for them and I asked, and I
I did. If I didn't
sent them, I think
I got them.
Okay, I hope I did. I really hope I did. But I still have them. I was even just like a couple weeks ago, I was looking for something because I also studied abroad here when I was at Sacred Heart. So I went to
maxed out. You maxed out Sacred Heart.
So I went to Ireland for 2 weeks and I was doing photography there. I brought my camera, and I was with Falco took the trip out, so we were with him for 2 weeks. And but I was looking for photos of Ireland that I took back in 2013, which is I hate saying these numbers, it's wild to me. But I took them back in 2013, and I was looking through like an old hard drive, and I ran into Sacred Heart sports photos. And I was like, oh man, there's AB playing soccer, and Paul on the sideline over there in football, and setting up helmets like this on the sideline, and shooting stuff like that.
Football shot at Campus Field.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was definitely sports that brought us together, and I also had a love for boxing, which I would think naturally we bonded over. Because sure. You have how many guys you sponsor over there for boxing is so. I think that's how we started. I think.
And I feel like post college we did a boxing one with one of Paul's.
Jimmy Williams.
Jimmy. We did Tremaine.
Tremaine was the one who came.
Chad Dawson was there. I love boxing. That was a highlight. Big time. I loved shooting boxing. Those guys are incredible.
It was really fun that we got to do that. I mean, I think for all of us, we were kind of like fresh out of school. We were looking for different opportunities, but at the same time, is like. We all know like opportunities don't always just come to you. So sometimes you have to make your own opportunities. And I feel like all of us were very much like, let's go out there, let's make our opportunities and do all of these things.
Yeah.
The thing too is like I felt like I didn't want to restrict myself at all. I mean, just by the list I guess I gave you from school, I didn't restrict myself. But I just didn't want to close myself off to like an opportunity or somebody that would be like, hey, come shoot this, or I know somebody that could be really good at football photos, right? I just didn't want to close myself off to any of that. So I like to talk to everybody, keep friends close and work with everybody, because you just never know what you're gonna get.
Definitely.
The opportunities. Yeah.
And so obviously, photography and all of these things, after school, you got your degree, you came back, you get your master's degree. Where do you land after school, and take us through your post-college journey?
Yeah, so post-college, I worked for a retirement company up in Windsor, Connecticut, because I just needed a job. And, it was good. I loved the place, and again, the people there were great. I just, I didn't fall in love with the job of being in, I guess, money itself, being in finance. Of course, maybe if I worked on Wall Street or something in New York, it would have been different. But I think it just, that's the direction that I was supposed to go in, and so I ended up moving away from that career, and I had a friend that worked in hospitality who worked down here. Actually, he was a graduate of Sacred Heart. Just, Sacred Heart connections everywhere. You just never know. You just, you keep talking to people, and you never know when a conversation is going to come up. And anyway, I was looking for a job, and he was like, "Hey, I work for like a small hotel in Fairfield, and we need a IT AV guy." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sure. I need a job," and that's something I did for like 5 years at Sacred Heart, as a side deal. And I tried it out, and I got the job, and I never looked back. So now I'm working in IT AV for a hospitality group, and I love it there. Again, that's after Sacred Heart. This place has become my second family, my second home kind of deal. And I think I'm pretty lucky because most people's careers don't do that, where they become like a second family or a second home. And so that's the journey after Sacred Heart right now.
Yeah. And how did, for example, obviously you mentioned working in the factory.
Yeah.
Is the factory even a thing still? Like, is it the same?
Oh man,
factory?
I hope so.
No. Okay, it's not.
Oh,
wow.
That's terrible.
End of an era.
Terrible.
Things happen. Time keeps moving.
Yeah, sure does. Yeah, sure.
But how did your experiences, working in the factory, which was our old IT support, when students like myself who were always breaking laptops,
I know. Yeah. I mean, so I was more about the classroom IT, right? So I did obviously you have TVs and stuff in here, and then in all of these classrooms you have touch panels and TVs and power and everything. It all talks together. And so I was more on that side rather than fixing laptops, which I could still do if I had to, of course. Mm-hmm. But this building was big for me. When I was working in the audiovisual department, we basically built this building out. Mm-hmm. And we tested every room, every piece of electronic in here, and then my office or my desk, whatever you want to call it, was downstairs. And because this building was so new, obviously stuff was breaking, and nobody knew how to use half the technology. And so, I was here with obviously my team to support this building, and that audiovisual side really helped me, and obviously what I'm doing now, but also in general, just having to work with people that maybe are not so happy because something's broken. That's it's
life in IT.
Yeah, life in IT. Yeah, most of the time you're approaching somebody, you're calling somebody on the phone that's not too happy that their stuff is broken. So you have to it doesn't just come to you. I think I learned from being here how to do that, and I just I credit this Sacred Heart experience with really helping out with that.
Yeah, definitely. I think we just got news that they turned the factory into a Sean Elliot shrine. So
oh God, no, please
if you'd like to go see it, it's down there.
Oh man, that would be pretty wild. I mean, I'll probably take a walk and see what's changed and stuff. But it's kind of sad that they took that away because, it was a good experience for kids figuring out how to work with people, how to work with staff, and just also, just basic troubleshooting skills in life. Like, okay, this is broken. You have a certain amount of time to figure it out, and also deal with these people and maybe staff that's not so happy, right? So, that's sad that they took that away. But
yeah. So I was gonna say, you've been at your job for a while. I think it's about 8 years. And you moved up the ladder. You got some promotions. So how has that been, like, overall, and just like?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously tough. First starting out, you worked just like crazy hours because events are.
You're the rookie.
Yeah, of course. And events are early in the morning, late at night. But then the job was also IT, so you worked during the day. So it was crazy hours, a lot of hard work, but it really helped having like a great support cast, right? Just people around you that wanted you to do well, and so I ended up moving all over the state kind of for this company, and I just did whatever I needed to do to what I thought was move forward in my career, and I was again. I'm going to tie this back to Sacred Heart, but I wasn't afraid of new experiences, right? So it was, if they threw something at me and said, hey, I really need this done you know, at a different location, or would you go there? And I'm not going to be the person that says no. I'm going to do it because I think, you know, there's probably, you know, I don't want to say, I guess, yeah, a reward on the other side that's going to benefit my career. So yeah, I said yes to whatever needed to be done. You know, moved all over the state. It was crazy when 2020 happened because, you know, so obviously I work in hospitality, and like, you know, everything shut down. Mm-hmm. So we had no people, nobody, almost no staff in our hotels. I was kind of out for about a month, but then they, you know, luckily they brought me back, and but it was kind of like a shining feeling, if you know what I mean. It was just an empty hotel with a couple of people working there, and so anytime it snowed or it was dark, I had to be there when it was dark. It was like, it's a little weird, but again, I just, you know, you just get through it, right? So just keep working, you know, do what I had to do to move forward, and we all got past COVID, and now just flourishing now. I mean, you know, our place has basically doubled in locations since 2020, and you know, everybody thought that like the hotel industry, hospitality is never going to recover from this, because, you know, it was basically a full year, 2 years, whatever it might be of shutdown. And I have to say, I think, you know, hospitality has doubled down on it and exploded now. It's a huge industry, and yeah, I mean, so just any opportunity, I guess, that came my way, I was all for it, and that's what, you know, helped move me up the ladder and get to where I am today. And so it's, you know, it comes down to the opportunities and the sport you have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think, Paul, it's that time. Yeah. Season 3, we're bringing it back.
Oh boy! All right, let's
3 seasons in, Sean. We still haven't come up with a name for this.
Okay.
We asked all of our guests to come up with a name if they have one.
All right,
let us know.
It's it's SHU Fun.
It was Fun SHU for the past 2 seasons. Don't come on season 3 brand new.
Yeah, so it's going to be like what your favorite things are. So,
all right, cool.
What was your favorite dorm living on campus?
My favorite dorm, I like J Hill. That was a fun place.
Yeah,
there we go.
That was a fun
place. the best place.
Yeah, that was fun. You know, it was kind of like away from everybody else.
Yeah.
You still had like your core group of people around you, and so
there was no like locks on the doors.
You didn't have to. Yeah, there was stuff you didn't have to worry about, and it was.
Or you had to worry about it,
right?
No, we didn't. We didn't worry about it. There were just so many people around. You had so many. You know, back there, you were close with everybody because you were obviously you know, together.
I'm saying
right?
I was pulling pranks and stuff.
Maybe that's cool, but we didn't worry about stuff. So I liked. Yeah, I think J Hill was my favorite. Yeah.
What about what was your favorite like meal on campus?
Man, I loved Linda's bacon, egg, and cheese.
All right, yeah,
that was just, I could eat that 3 times a day. Yeah, that's the one.
All right, this is the hard one though.
Okay.
Your favorite professor, not offending anybody.
That is a hard one.
You could always go Miller because, like, you know, he's like
Can I pick one from undergrad and master's? Or
yeah, for sure.
All right. So I think my favorite professor from undergrad was probably Professor Dunbar in business.
He's accounting, right?
Kwame Dunbar. He was economics and a little bit of finance, and so or maybe even just general business, but. Yeah, I had a couple classes with him, and I always enjoyed being in class with him and learning from him. And he was also, you know, always a big support to me if I was having a hard time or had questions or something. And you know, so definitely Professor Dunbar for undergrad. And then I guess for grad school, I think I'd have to say Professor Falco was a huge. He was a big support. He helped me out a lot. I loved going on projects with him. He was always around. I know maybe that's, you know, kind of, you know, people are pretty split on Professor Falco, but it was probably my favorite, I'd say.
Nice.
Yep.
You got any?
Yeah. What was your favorite sport or event that you shot?
Oh, that's a good one.
Favorite sport or event that I shot at Sacred Heart.
Did you? How many sports? You know, we have 30. I think 32 now. 33 sports. But how many did you shoot? A lot of different sports?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously football, hockey, both men's and women's, soccer, of course, men's and women's, fencing. I know it was a big sport here when I was here. That was pretty cool to shoot that. volleyball, basketball, baseball. I mean, I just basically everything. I think maybe I didn't shoot swimming. And so, favorite. That's tough. Favorite is tough. I loved shooting the hockey teams when they were in the Milford Arena. Okay. It's escaping me what the name was over there.
MIP.
The MIP, yes. Milford Ice Pavilion, that's the one, yeah. So I loved shooting in that building because it was just like, it felt like classic hockey. You could walk up to the window over there, grab a hot chocolate, and then shoot your game, and you're basically elbow to elbow with families, and so I can't pick one, right? So I would say the experience at the shooting hockey at the Met.
What about was there a specific game that was like a awesome game that you shot?
Man,
Racking the archives here.
Well, I think one that stands out to me, there was like a Veterans Day game or like a Veterans celebration, something along those lines for football, and I shot that game, but it was they had like camo and stuff, and there was a camo hat and I think I had your hat, the Stars and Stripes hat, and I threw it out on the field, and I took a picture of it next to the Sacred Heart helmet that was kind of designed for Veterans Day, and that moment sticks out in my mind. I'm not totally sure why, but it just that had a lot of meaning to me, and it was really cool, and I still to this day remember being on the field, taking that picture, and seeing it in my mind. And so I think the Veterans Day game at the football game was a pretty cool memory. Yeah.
Well, he left the shooting Aaron Burrell in soccer off.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. No,
listen, fine. I gave you all your pictures.
You did.
Right?
You did. And trust me, I didn't get many of them, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
I definitely appreciate it. So.
No, see, it's so hard to pick. I mean, I love shooting all the sports, and I so many friends in all the sports, right? And tennis too. I love shooting tennis, and actually, I don't know if we're good for time or I'm going too long, but we took a trip with the media department during grad school to go shoot the U.S. Open.
That's awesome.
And I went with. I still remember going with Chuck and Carlton and a couple of the other guys, and just meeting them for the first time, and going out and shooting tennis. That was a blast with everybody. That was such a blast.
So
that is. I think Paul, any closing questions for you? No, yeah, Sean, we appreciate your time.
Listen, I appreciate you guys inviting me. This was really cool. Thanks for having me.
It's been great to catch up and relive some of these old glory days as we are now the official old heads.
Oh man, sounds good. Thanks a lot.
I appreciate you.
We will see you all on the next episode.